Issues in my country with Lai Omotola.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on the part of the world you're watching this program from. This is Issues in My Country with Lai Omotola. Today, the topic, 5 reasons why refinery may never work in Nigeria. A lot of independent businessmen and women secured licenses in Nigeria to refine crude oil. The motivation for this license has always been the crude oil. Some even thought that once they secure the license, they will begin to lift crude oil. And since then, getting the refinery to work has been a challenge. Historically, the first commercial quantity of crude oil in Nigeria was in 1956. But Nigeria did not get to start refining the crude oil until 1965, when the first refinery was built by Shell. For the past 28 years, our refinery have hardly worked. In fact, have totally collapsed. And about 1 trillion naira have been spent on turnaround or even repairing the refinery. And dates upon dates upon dates have been announced for a refinery to commence operations. And recently, about $2 billion was borrowed by the Nigerian government to bring these refineries to work. In 28 years, we still continue to battle with our refinery. And just in recent time, the Dangote refinery came on board and has been met with stiff opposition from opposing interests. And the battle still continues to rage. Now, today, I want to carefully tell you 5 reasons why refinery may never work in Nigeria. The first one is access to funding. Anybody thinking of running a refinery today, and after what has happened to Dangote, will find it extremely difficult to find access to funding. To bring up or build a refinery is no small money, essentially in dollars, and running into a minimum of $1 billion. It will be difficult for any entrepreneur or any independent businessman to invest in refinery after Dangote, and also to see how those that are trying to build refinery across Nigeria are struggling and have entered into huge debts. Number 1 reason. Number 2 reason is our oil and gas infrastructure. Our oil and gas infrastructure is a pipeline network is majorly challenged, totally disintegrated, and in a state of moribund, and there is no fund to rehabilitate a pipeline network. So, refiners will now have to be trucking. And with the state of our road, trucking comes with its own challenges. Our infrastructure is a major challenge for refinery. The infrastructure is not aiding refinery and is one of the reasons why setting up a refinery will be a problem. Number 3 is the bad business model. The model whereby the federal government will give an independent businessman license to build a refinery is a bad business model. The people that build refinery in developed nations are mostly, and please underline the word mostly, energy companies. Who are these energy companies? Energy companies are people that drill crude oil and have the value chain across board. What do I mean by this? They drill crude oil, they build refinery, and they also have petrol stations. In the early days, Shell, a major player in oil and gas, we drill crude oil, built our first refinery, and also we had Shell petrol stations. Now, why is this model good? The reason why this model is good is the feedstock is guaranteed, the market is guaranteed, and you have a vertical integration across board. The same person that is drilling is the same person that is refining, and is the same person that is retailing. When you have a disjointed or a separated business model, it brings the exact crisis that we're finding in Dangote Refinery, who is an independent businessman, has never been a stakeholder in oil and gas, a new entrant, and is now facing stiff opposition. The refinery that he's building, he has never built one before. So he's doing something that he never had expertise or had never done before. And these challenges become novel to him. So the business model for our refinery in Nigeria is a bad one, and it will not aid refinery. Secondly, is that you tell independent investors to build refinery when already we have spent ₦1 trillion on our own refinery. So if their own refinery is working, which account does the money we've already expended on our own moribund refinery? And the workers we pay at this refinery, where would it go? And this is the reason why private refiners will encounter opposition, will encounter stiff conflicts. And as a result of this, independent refiners will find it difficult to make ends meet. Thirdly, on the business model, what a lot of people that go into refinery business do not understand is that in the refinery business, the margins are low. The margins are between 1% to 5%. Turnover is high, but margins is low. But because of the turnover, business people concentrate on the turnover, but they do not realize that the bottom line is thin. Now, you will realize that in the early days, understanding this thing, it was government that built refinery, because they understood that anybody that will survive in the refinery business, subsidy must be coming from somewhere. I'll talk about subsidy in my next edition. But subsidy must be coming from somewhere. And when you take subsidy away from refinery, the refinery will soon die. That's what we're seeing. Number 4 is the business environment. The Nigerian business environment is a toxic one. The economy is nosediving. The regulators of oil and gas business are new on board, and they continue to make a lot of mistakes and has turned business to a very harsh one. And so the business environment for any foreign investor or local investor to come in is not attractive. And because it's not attractive, it cannot command the desired result. So our business environment is not helping matters as number 4. And then number 5, which is the most important thing, or most important one, and where I close, and if it's not resolved, no refinery will survive, is our foreign exchange. No refinery will survive in a foreign exchange regime that is not only high, but always fluctuating. There's a risk, a big risk, when your exchange fluctuates. When the exchange fluctuates, it means that you have to be changing prices as it fluctuates. So for example, if it fluctuates as in Nigeria every week, it will be difficult for any refinery to be changing prices every week. And if that is the situation and the refinery does not do it, the refinery will end up declaring loss. These are the 5 reasons why a refinery may never work in Nigeria. Thank you so much. Till I see you again next week. This is Issues in My Country with Lai Omotola.